Hi, my name's Bo Malatesta, and I'm the Director of Alumni and Development here at Ashley.
And my name is Louis Marcel, and I'm the Alumni Coordinator here at Ashley.
We just want to welcome you to the 2020 Homecoming at Home. We're sad that you aren't able to join us on campus, but we're going to do our best to recreate this magical place for you. And we want you to see our staff and the magic that makes Ashley so special. Right, Lou?
That's right, Bo. Welcome home, everybody. It's been a tough year, but we've missed you at all of our RED programs, at our Strengthening Our Recovery events, and at our chapter meetings. We want to take this time to express our deep gratitude for our alumni and also offer any help that we can during this time. If you're struggling, please reach out. We'd be happy to hear from you and be happy to help you.
Please join us today for this tour and later tonight for our keynote speaker. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to have an amazing spiritual service presented by Mark Hushin. Thank you so much for joining us.
You know, I still get chills whenever I drive onto Ashley's campus. And that first time was just incredible, but I still get some of that same experience every time I drive on campus.
The campus is absolutely beautiful. Having been a Baltimore City native all my life, I had no idea that this sort of thing existed as an organization. It's serene, it's peaceful. As soon as you turn through those gates, I always say you're going through a bubble because it just feels like you can relax.
There's something special about this place, and it immediately transforms anybody who walks onto this campus, and it did so for me.
I have worked at several locations, and one thing about Ashley is a family. It's a family environment. They truly care. It's very empathetic. One thing about Ashley is that I know it as a patient and I know it as an employee, and I've always felt that I was respected and cared for.
I think that the patients receive so many gifts and tools from the staff here because every staff pours their heart and soul into the day-to-day. And I think patients leave with this new hope and restored life that gives them opportunity to start over and have family involved again in their lives, friends, and just a fresh start.
There is no place in the world like Ashley. When I drive in the morning, even after 10 years, every day, driving in the morning, coming up Oakington Road before turning onto Tidings Lane, I can feel just the healing presence. When the light comes down through the trees, I can feel that something special is here, and it sort of draws me in, and I believe that it has drawn many of us in, if not all of us in, those that work here. There's no place in the world like Ashley, and that's why I'm here.
I think that the moment that you step on Ashley's campus, there's a sense of gratitude that our patients feel because they feel as though they're in a safe and protected space, and they're finally in a place where they feel as though the people that are around them truly care about them and have their best interest at heart. And what comes out of that is a sense of healing and a sense of serenity.
Welcome to the Oak Store. We're very disappointed that we will not be physically meeting this year for Homecoming 2020, but there is still an opportunity for you to go and participate. We have set up a promotion code on our online site. It's called Home20. You can go there and purchase items that we have here in the store. And we would like to let you know that all proceeds will go toward our scholarship program. And just remember, everything is for recovery, and that we'll miss you this year, and that we love you.
I would just say, keep coming back, as they say. Please give back. You were given a gift, and by all means, please give it back, give it away. And we are so looking forward to seeing you on the next reunion. And everyone is in my thoughts and prayers, as is from my dietary team also.
So I've been to every homecoming since I left here in 2007, and I think my favorite homecoming was the first one. I had been somewhat prepared to see all the alumni who come back, but there were probably 1,500 alumni who came back for homecoming. And it was just such a wonderful experience just to feel that commonality, that everybody had been through the same thing, and that everybody had come out on the other end very successfully.
As a member of the staff now, one of the things that really incentivizes me is when I see you all, when you're here, seeing each other for the first time, since you left here, and the camaraderie that goes on, and realize that what goes on here goes with you even when you leave here.
I think I've been to homecoming almost every year since I got sober, and it's one of our favorite days of the year because we get to have so many alumni and their families come back to campus, some of whom just left treatment, some of them have been coming to these homecomings for years, if not decades.
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite memories, but it is a memory. In 2010, somehow I was roped into dressing up like a clown to have people, to greet people as they came in, and I agreed to it, and it was a full clown suit, and it wasn't nearly as humbling as my actual addiction and early recovery process, but it was a good way to keep me right-sized, so to speak. It was a one-and-done thing, but it was actually a great memory, and no one knew who I was, which is kind of fun, too.
We believe that connection is the key to recovery. So bringing everyone, hundreds of people together, connecting on that day to remember their time spent at Ashley and their involvement still with Ashley is just remarkable.
I enjoy the homecoming because I get to see them like in life, real life versus treatment life. I get to see the family on a different level, much calmer, much more sane. Get to see even the children, get to see some of those goals that we talked about sitting in these chairs, really occurring. Sometimes I get to see those dreams that we talked about, unfold right in front of our very eyes. That certainly just gives me that reestablished, motivation, that this is what we do, the part of, as Father Martin, from death to life, really what it's all about, watching these people and their family, go from hell to having an experience that gives them an opportunity to be part of a solution versus die because of an addiction.
So if I could explain homecoming in one word, I would say that homecoming's powerful because you get to see so many people from, around the world, in fact, that have been through Ashley over the years. That come back to celebrate the place that helped them grow in their recovery, and it's an experience that I certainly treasure, and it's one that I've treasured as an alumni of Ashley and both as a staff member as well.
I actually love the homecoming because I actually am able to see your work, if that makes sense to you. You're actually able to see what you've put into people, and those people come back and actually thank you for just recognizing, because you're at your most vulnerable state when you're here in these 28 days. The hard work begins when you walk out this door. And so when to have them come back and remember the things that you've taught them, implement the things, even during difficult times, you really know that your job means something.
Patients come here to the pain recovery program. Some of them can't walk, some of them are in wheelchairs when they get here, or walkers, and they leave, and they're running marathons by the time they leave. It's an amazing transformation that I get to be a part of.
Well, the patient community is incredibly important to us. I personally identify very closely with them because I'm an alumni myself. I was a patient here at Ashley in 2003, and despite the patients having such different experiences before finding us, they're all sort of bound together by this common struggle with alcoholism and drug addiction, and the fact that we get to come to work every day and as a staff support them and their families and help them discover a life of sobriety and recovery and freedom is incredibly rewarding.
I didn't really know what to expect going into it. It sounded like a Ashley carnival, and I didn't really know what was going to come out of it, but it ended up being an incredible experience. You get to see all the people that you've worked with. You get to see people at various stages in their life. You get to see them bring their families and their friends and kids.
Well, I think that Father Martin instilled here a healing power, a healing presence, and we as a staff have kept that alive by the way that we care for our patients, the way that we care for each other. We have kept what Father Martin created going, and that's what I feel. I think that's what we feel when we come onto the campus. It is impossible, I think, to be on this campus for 28 days and not have some kind of a spiritual experience. I've never known a patient who has completed 28 days here and not had some kind of transformative moment happen for them.
Father Martin was an innovator during his day, and he lived and I think breathed the principles of compassion for people struggling with addiction, but he did not tolerate any non-compliance with what his expectations were, and my sort of philosophy is very similar, and so I push people pretty hard when they're here. And some of my favorite memories are the patients that struggled, whether it's sort of complying with our expectations, showing up on time, getting out of bed, the people that I went to their room and pulled them out of bed to get them to group, showing up and saying thank you for that.
So I've worked for several social justice focused nonprofits who have various issues. This is a place, though, that is really about treating people with dignity and respect, and really looks at addiction as this is one of the health problems that any of us could have, and it's not shameful to have that. Let's help you overcome it, just like any other healthcare issue. And I really appreciate that fact.
So the overall vibe of patients and counselors is unlike anything that I've ever seen before, and that's something that Ashley prides itself on. And the community members, just in and of itself, are very supportive of each other. And it's great to see that happening in early recovery in a 28-day program, the amount of support they get from each other and the staff, all of the staff, not only the counselors, but just very supportive environment.
Father Martin believed that the centrality of this campus should be this particular building, and in my mind, not only is spirituality an important component, but a lot of healing goes on here, and that's associated with spirituality and all the other things that we do. And I think that makes us unique as a treatment center.
I think the secret sauce, the DNA of Ashley, is compassion. And compassion is our ability to lessen the suffering of others. Recently, in an assignment that I had, I wrote that Ashley is like an ocean of compassion. And then the thought occurred to me, wow, somebody get me a raft. I gotta float a while.
I think I love the community, but I also love the fact that Ashley has a premise that everybody deserves a second chance. I don't care who it is, where you come from, everybody deserves a second chance. And I feel like my role in that is so important, because a lot of times with addiction, there's always some type of mental health that's going along with it. And sometimes we've ignored that mental health aspect. So by me working here at Ashley, I feel like I'm actually picking up that part and really, I think, treating the whole person, the entire person.
I would just add to that we love you, we support you, we're here for you, and all of us together on this journey to recovery celebrate a great miracle. So we're really blessed people. As one of our staff used to say, we're blessed beyond measure and highly favored, and that is so true.
So for our alumni watching, I just want to comfort you and let you know that during these uncertain and chaotic times, that whatever progress you're making, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, baby steps are still steps, and they're valid and they're important, and we're always here to support you.
One thing I would say is welcome back. We are excited to have you, and just keep doing what you're doing. Work on your recovery, and know that when we work on ourselves and we take things one step at a time. I know the program says one day at a time, but sometimes it's 1 minute, and in our current environment, just to continue to take care of ourselves, and knowing that as we take care of ourselves, we're taking care of those around us too. So continue doing what you're doing, love unconditionally, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Yeah, I'd like to tell them to keep trucking. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and it's incredibly challenging to maintain the connections that are so vital to recovery when we have to literally physically distance ourselves from the people that we love. So again, I just ask you all to keep trucking and not give up on yourselves, because you're worth it and we're going to get through this.
I guess I would remind people that just because they can't be here physically doesn't mean that the staff here hasn't, spent countless waking or, tireless hours trying to give them the best experience possible in lieu of being able to come here, and really that their legacy lives on in the patient community that's here right now, because they're going to be future alumni, and the experiences that they have still get talked about daily. A lot of what we do here is because of the impact that alumni have had along the way. So even though they can't be here physically, they still live on here spiritually, and in the environment and the lectures and the programming, and just in the way staff, interact and their skills. My interactions with people are different because I had so many different interactions with alumni. So they ended up teaching me more than a lot of people have, and in that way they're still present even though they're not here for homecoming.
I know this has been a tough time for a lot of people in recovery. The isolation, the lack of support in the community that usually happens in person isn't there right now. So if this has hit you in that way, if you are struggling, please reach out. Please call Ashley, call me, call a staff member, call the alumni department, reach out to someone in your network. Help is available right now. This won't go on forever, so please reach out to us if you're struggling.
I usually start off telling a joke, and over the years I've collected a lot of bad jokes. There's these 4 people on an airplane, but there's only 3 parachutes and the plane's going down. So the first guy, he grabs one of the parachutes and he says, you guys have to understand, I'm a surgeon, a medical doctor, so I'm obviously gonna need one of these parachutes. My patients need me. He takes that, he jumps out of the plane. The second guy, he looks at everybody, he says, look, I don't wanna brag or anything, but I'm like literally a genius. I am a rocket scientist. So I'm gonna have to take one of these parachutes. The nation literally needs me. And so that leaves 2 people, 1 parachute. And so it turns out it's the Pope himself was on the plane. And he looks at this young kid who's a Boy Scout, and he says, son, you can take the final one. I'm old and frail. God's got me, don't worry about it. And the Boy Scout looks over at the Pope and he says, that's okay, mister. The world's smartest man just jumped out with my backpack on.
I wish you well and encourage you, and everybody, we all know what we need to do to maintain sobriety. So keep doing that, and again, stay connected, and we'll get through this and we'll be just fine.